Hey guys, Brickopotamus here, back with another video. And wait, are we outside? Yeah, sorry for the cringe, but today I will be giving you a guide to LEGO photography. So this is just going to be a video of the most helpful tips and just, yeah, me going around showing you guys how I take photos. This was a pretty requested video by quite a lot of people. And when I say a lot, I mean I don't have that many people watching me yet, but yeah, anyway, yeah, let's get into the video. So, first thing I want to say, and probably the most important, is, well actually first thing, you want to be using a real camera. It kind of matters which camera, as long as you can switch lenses out, that's really what matters. I think DSLR or whatever it is, but yeah, unless you're using, like, the latest iPhone, you don't want to use a phone, especially not an iPad or any other device, because cameras on those suck. I speak from experience. But yeah, save up for a camera as soon as possible. It is definitely worth it. I got this camera 8 months ago, and I've used it almost every day since. So yeah, that's first. Next thing I want to say is, before you start taking any photos, look at some photos online. Look at mine, of course, but yeah, just look at what other people are doing. There's actually quite a few LEGO photographers online, and I know that doesn't sound like a real thing, but it is. We're here. So yeah, be inspired by other people's photos first. Of course, don't copy what they have, but take ideas. And once you have a pretty solid idea, like let's say you have this one minifigure you want to take a picture of, or your sig fig or something, you gotta think, like, what would fit this photo, or sorry, minifigure, not photo. You gotta think what would fit the minifigure, and I'll have examples flashing by the screen right now. But yeah, that's kind of the first big thing you want to think about. So yeah, the next step is just to go outside, and of course if you can take your photo where you are, you might have to edit the background in, which might be a whole nother video I'll make later if this one does well. So yeah, I'm just gonna be taking some photos in the yard now, showing you how to do it. But wait, before I do that, have you left a like on today's video? If not, leave a like on today's video. Yeah. Now let's get into the video. Now, one thing I do want to say before I take any photos is a lot of this, like a whole lot of this, depends on the lens you're using. So I'm using a Nikon, what is it, 35mm 1.8. So the f-stop can go down to 1.8, which is what it's at right now. Let's see if it'll let me. And then this is with the f-stop up at 4. And you can see there's kind of a huge difference. And what you will usually want is the f-stop as low as it can go, or 1.8 is what I prefer. So yeah, let's go take some photos. So like I said before, it's not ideal to just go outside with a random minifigure. You should have an idea in your head, but nevertheless, I grabbed this Mandalorian from the Mando Battle Pack, and yeah, I'll just be going around the yard showing you how I take pictures. So the first thing you might notice is it is pretty dang sunny right now. Sun's about to go down, and that's almost always a good time to take photos, sunrise or sunset. So I'm gonna try here first with the sun. Alright guys, so just place my figure down just in a random spot where I can catch the sun here. And I think it's a little too dark on him. There we go. Right there. Okay, here, this looks pretty good. Okay, right here. And then I'll just take the pic. Yeah, that honestly looks pretty good. Better than I thought it would. And then, of course, I can, you know, spruce it up in editing. Probably make the surroundings a bit darker. Add a lens flare. And yeah. Alright, so another thing with the sun again, you might notice is these plants right here are pretty dang colorful. I mean bright, not colorful. And when you get down to this level, you can really see that. So, it makes a pretty good background. Go right here. Focus it. And right there, that looks pretty dang good. Another thing I think is worth mentioning is I kind of just developed my favorite spots of the yard to take photos. Like right here. Now, of course, you shouldn't take photos in the same place every time, but it's always nice if you want to take a photo, you have this one spot that always turns out pretty nice. You can just use that. Take it right there. And then maybe one of the last things I'll talk about here is if you find something kind of interesting, like these purpley white flowers, it's usually worth it to stop, try and take a photo here. So let me set this up. And I guess that turned out pretty decent right there. Here's just another example of finding some weird thing. In this case, puppy. I don't think anyone knew, but I actually have a golden retriever puppy. Ruins a good amount of photos. So, yeah. There you can see him digging from the other side. But yeah, like I was saying, finding something weird like this hole in the tree trunk will usually make a pretty good photo. Here's another thing I haven't said yet, but it's usually pretty hard to take photos with like houses in the background and stuff, but if you can find a man-made object like this and get down at the right angle, that can also turn out pretty good, especially for Star Wars in my opinion. Right there, it almost looks like he's in some massive hangar or something. Now, probably one of the last things I'm gonna do in this video is, well, just get creative, I guess, because I am up on the roof right now. Place him right here. I hope he doesn't fall down the other side. That'd kind of suck. Focus it. Looks pretty good. The thing that really makes this photo stand out is obviously that the Mandalorian's kind of, or not the Mandalorian, but the Mando here is kind of silhouetted right here on the rooftop. Let me get another angle. Right here. That wasn't on camera, but there was a wind gust just now that blew him down, thankfully this side, because he'd probably be stuck on the roof forever on the other side. But the thing that makes this photo stand out is just how, I guess, majestic he looks. This antenna sticking out, this cape can maybe make it flowing, except he has the jetpack, so yeah. And then one more thing I'll say while I'm up here is Mandalorians of course have jetpacks, so I was just thinking it'd be pretty cool if in editing, you know, maybe had him flying off like this, elevated by a pole up here, which is another thing I'm about to cover. So alright, so here I am in another part of the yard with this stick, which is actually way too long. 1 second. There we go. So as you can see, got a stick sticking up in the ground, and of course you can use Lego pieces, like just bar pieces, but I'm gonna put the Mando on the stick. Should probably have a weapon or something, but wasn't really thinking about that. And so, take the photo. So you're probably thinking, well, that looks kind of stupid. It's just a stick sticking in his foot. And that's kind of a whole nother aspect of Lego photography, is just what you can do with editing it. And I guess that's just photography in general, but I think especially toy photography. So I'm gonna edit this stick out and show you what that looks like. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Some basic tips are just experiment. Of course, try out different lenses, which I know can be expensive, so I will link the lens I have in the description or something if I remember. Yeah, Basic tips were, sorry for the dogs over there, I can't really control that, but just experiment with lighting, which would be like outside would be the sun and stuff. And actually I didn't mention, but if you guys like this video, I can do a part 2, which will be indoor photography, which I find way harder. So yeah, I can do that. Lighting, angles. The angle can really just make your photo way better than you think. Like, taking a photo head on is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people make with Lego photography. So yeah, angles and minifigure posing, which I know I didn't really do anything with in this video. Maybe I'll add a clip right after this, me talking about that. But yeah, you wanna, I know that I didn't do this, but you don't want to just have your figure standing there, you know, Lego hands at his side. That looks stupid, okay? Looks kind of boring. Now, obviously, that's not gonna ruin your photo if you don't pose your minifigure, but you can definitely add to it if you do. Thing I mentioned at the beginning was don't just, or at least when you're starting, don't just go outside and take photos with random minifigures. You want to first be inspired, look at other photos, then get some ideas in your head, like, okay, I have this minifigure I really like, what would fit him, what kind of background should I take a picture of him in, or her, sorry. So yeah, be inspired before you take your photos and motivated. It's better to take your photo right when you got the idea fresh in your head before it gets dry. I've had quite a few photos that I just had the idea for and never did. And lastly, I think editing plays a way bigger part than a lot of people realize. Now, of course, you can over-edit your photo, which you don't want to do, but there's a lot of benefits to editing your photos. But yeah, editing can help a lot, especially if you live somewhere where there's a lot of green, let's say, and you want to take a photo of the desert. You can always Photoshop it. You want to Photoshop something out, or just, you know, switch up the contrast and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a requested video from quite a few people, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And yeah, please like and subscribe, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, one more thing. Thank you for, I think it's 79 subscribers, and I've only had my channel for 6 weeks, so that's pretty awesome. Thank you guys. Let's get that to 100 as soon as possible. And yeah, bye.